Hello, hello. Hello, and welcome back to another episode here on the Desensitized channel. As always, it's me, Darius Cook, joined by the handsome Dan Cast.
Howdy, it's me, the handsome Dan Cast.
Howdy back. Fun fact, did you know howdy is short for how do you do?
No, I didn't know. That honestly, that makes sense. That's one of those things where you don't really think about it, but then when like you get told why it is how it is, you're like, oh, duh. I'm not sure
Yeah,
why I didn't think of that.
yeah. No one knows it, but it also doesn't surprise anyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. Come to Desensitized to learn something new.
There you
But
go.
today, we've got a fun topic in store. On our recent episode, we were discussing all the new anime of the season, and one that has garnered a lot of interest is Yaiba, which is actually an anime remake from an anime back from the late 90s. So this show has been remade, recolored, re-edited, all that good stuff. And it's been brought to our screens again. And, I got to say, anime remakes has not been something that I've been aware of very much. But in this specific example, I think that it's a great option. What are your thoughts on Yaiba so far?
It's good. It's good. It's great so far. 90s look to early 2000s of animes I really enjoy. It's really stylized. It's got its own vibe to it. Like you can look, even if they're like perfect, like 1080p quality, you could tell which one is from like the 90s and what's a more recent anime. I really like that look. So getting a little bit of nostalgia from watching that show and like actual good animation now is has been refreshing for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was so refreshing that it got the wheels turning for me, and it got me thinking, what's another anime from back in the day that deserves a remake? What's an anime that is so good, but it just didn't have the resources to be as good as it could be at the time? And it got me thinking, what anime? This is actually a tradition that's not as rare as I thought it was. Upon a little bit of research, the most popular examples of this in our history is the Hunter x Hunter anime. That was a remake from the '90s as well.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of clips, and it seemed like the original was honestly pretty solid. It just never finished its run because I think it caught up to the manga at the time. And instead of finishing it out with an arbitrary plot like we've seen with a lot of animes, it decided to just remake it all together a few years later. So that's when we got the 2011 series.
Did you know um JoJo's Part 3 was anime in the 90s as
Isn't
well?
that crazy? I
Yeah.
didn't know that while watching it, but I've come ran into those clips later on. They did a whole Stardust Crusaders, huh?
Yeah, and honestly, some of the parts they do a little bit better in my opinion. Even this is a little off topic, but for example, in the 90s when Dio would stop time and teleport, there was no like stop time, walk over to the person. He was just like appearing. No audio, no
Mm,
nothing. It was like scary almost. It was crazy.
mm. Interesting. Yeah, I forgot that about JoJo's. That's interesting. I mean, if anything, it goes to show that when you do this with an anime, if the fandom is there enough, and they pour in the resources to redoing it, and you can learn from all the lessons that you have from your original run, it leads to very popular results. I mean, I think Stardust Crusaders specifically is the season that put JoJo's on the map when it got completely remade, and so obviously that worked out for that. Hunter x Hunter is still one of the most popular anime on the planet, based on that remake. And Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood might be the best remake of
Oh
all
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah. The original Full Metal Alchemist was stinky. It was not too great.
Yeah, I remember when I was young and first getting into anime. I think I was 10 years old, using Google and YouTube at the time to the best of my ability. I, for the life of me, could not understand the
me,
difference
me
between the two
neither.
anime.
Me
I had
neither.
seen a little bit of one and a little bit of both. Like the wires getting crossed was so tough. There was some Full Metal Alchemist movies out at the time, and one was from the original timeline, and another one was from the Brotherhood timeline. It was a lot.
Yeah, the it's funny that the in Brotherhood like one like small arc where they're in that like town with the guy in the church that has like the animals and stuff like that. In the
Mhm.
original Brother like in the original Full Metal Alchemist, that's like 10, 11 episodes. In Brotherhood, they solve that in like an episode and a
I think it's
half.
episode 3. It's
Yeah,
like literally just episode 3.
like they get rid of it pretty quickly. Like I'm like, thank God, because it was slow.
Yeah, and but that was another situation where the reason why it ended up getting remade is because at the time anime was just adapting everything that they could all at once. There wasn't the same seasonal structure that we
Yeah.
have today, and they were just catching up to the manga. And so they would ruin their anime, or they would just stop altogether, leaving room for them to reapproach it later on.
Hmm.
I was just going to say, with that all in mind, I was wondering what anime come to mind for you that you would like to potentially see remade, remastered in the future.
The first one that like immediately came to mind, and I might have stolen one of yours, was definitely Yu Yu Hakusho. Um,
Oh, I actually didn't have that on my
really?
list.
That's shocking
I don't
considering
know why I didn't.
you recently rewatched it or
This is
watched it
true.
for
I
the
just
first time, actually, right?
Yes, in 2024, I watched all of Yu Yu Hakusho for the first time, and I was completely amazed by it.
Yeah, and I know like obviously it still holds up well, but I imagine it in like being made 2025, just perfect animation, like it would kill. It would kill.
That's a great pick. I gotta say, I will say, I think when talking about this conversation, there's stuff like we want to see better animation, we want to see better pacing, storytelling. I will say somehow watching Yu Yu Hakusho in 2024, the pacing is perfect, the story is perfect, the animation is stilted, but it's the best it could have been at the time.
Yeah.
So I would love to see updated animation for the series. And they started so many tropes like the tournament arc and other stuff like that reverberate throughout the anime community that I think it would be a stellar choice to remake it with updated animation.
Yeah, they don't even need to change much, like you said. Like the pacing is fine. Just seeing it visually updated would be awesome.
Oh man, that's a good one, Cass. We'll call it To You Hakusho. The next one I want to talk about, I think is potentially an even better choice. I think that we should get a remake of the Soul Eater anime, especially with the hype of Fire Force. When that comes to an end, I think it would be a perfect time to then drop a remake of the Soul Eater anime. So that leading directly into a new Soul Eater anime with updated animation, every all that good stuff, I think would be really great. The only things that suffered in Soul Eater are some of the fan service that I think would be great to take out of it. Some of the pacing, especially in the second half of the series. And Soul Eater is one of those anime that caught up to the manga, didn't have a manga ending, and then made its own. So I do like how the Soul Eater anime ended. I thought it was a pretty solid ending, actually, but it does deviate significantly from the manga. So it would give fans justice to see what the true ending would be animated in full force.
Yeah, because realistically, like if you look back at clips of Soul Eater, like the animation's still amazing. Like it still holds up so well. You'd think it,
It
it got
does.
it got made recently. Um, so definitely like one seeing that updated even more would be great. But I think one of the biggest gripes a lot of people had is because obviously when it started to deviate from the manga, a lot of people didn't like the direction that it went. And
Mhm.
like you said, it's the same issue with Fire Force, same creator. The fan service is a bit much sometimes. It would be nice to
Yeah,
get
it
rid of
is.
that.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Uh, Soul Eater also has so many cool black characters. So just selfishly, it's one of those anime that is popular, but I think it doesn't get talked about enough. And I think that it's like prime for a remake to just get it in front of new eyeballs that haven't been exposed to that series.
It is just also such a cool concept. Like person that turns into a scythe, and you have to like learn how to kind of work with each other. And then when you do like the soul resonance and stuff, that's like the pure
Oh yeah,
linking of you two. Like it's so cool.
it really is a solid premise. Like it is. Agreed. Was there anything else that you had your eye on to potentially get remade in the future?
This is like a weird greedy one out of me, but I would really love to. I think I might have dreamt this. So correct me if I'm wrong or if you've heard of this, but I want them to remake the early seasons of Bleach.
Hmm.
Because there's something about the early seasons of Bleach that it doesn't age as well as say like Naruto or well, I haven't seen One Piece, but I can't speak for it. But uh, I would say maybe One Piece probably looks a little better visually. Like Bleach looks really dated, and I don't know if that's because of the style that the creator was doing at the time or what, but it like I want more people to watch Bleach, but I know those first couple seasons like really look their age. So I would
Hmm.
love to see them do that. And I swear I saw something where they mentioned maybe doing that, but that might just be not real.
I don't know that if that's a rumor, it's one that I will gladly help spread. But that is a good one because you're right. Like going back and watching those first seasons of Bleach, It's you feel very much like you're in 2003 and not in the charming way. Like
Yeah,
it's like I think Naruto feels separate where it has such a distinct style and it's such like an
exactly.
edgy style that
Exactly.
going back and watching it has its charm. But Bleach, it was such like a popularized modern anime at the time. It came out a little bit after Naruto in terms of popularity. That it really opted for more simple designs, and Naruto is in this fantastical world, and Bleach just takes place in our normal world. And the blending and the stylistic choices at the time, they do feel a little stiff. I think I agree with you there.
Yeah, I would love to have some new seasons. And I mean, Naruto doesn't really need it, but didn't they tease like it feels like a year, 2 years ago now that they would redo the parts of
Yeah,
in like 4 episodes?
yeah. Naruto, filthy liars.
Yeah, like
2 years ago, they released that they were going to, reanimate key episodes throughout the season, and then they talked about just releasing the first season again, like with new updated animation. That was supposed to come out in October of
that's what
2023.
I'm saying.
Like
Like,
they've completely dropped the ball on it, and we haven't heard any whispers of that coming back.
yeah, I just recently saw people talking about it. I'm like, I completely forgot that was supposed to be a thing. Like, this was supposed to happen years ago. Like, what happened? Um, from my understanding, it was just a couple episodes. I'm like, how long could it take to really do this? Like, you can crank this out in a couple months, probably.
It certainly must not be that hard. You're following the same blueprint.
Exactly, just updated. Because everything about Naruto, like the original Naruto, is great. Like it's the pacing, like I love it. It's so good. Yeah, I mean, even a lot of the fights and stuff, the animation still holds up amazingly well. Like I every month I feel like I see Lee and Gara in my in my for you page, and I
It
don't
never gets old.
I never skip it. I never skip it. I always watch
Lee
it.
vs. Gara tuning exams might be the most timeless fight
Dude,
ever.
so cool. It was awesome.
Yeah. No, as if they put that out, I would eat it up with a spoon. I am overall of the opinion that Naruto is an anime that shouldn't be touched because it's it's such a specific look, it's such a specific vibe. I want to keep that in a time capsule forever.
For sure.
And then by the time you get to the end of the series, it's just the most fluid animation ever. I do think Bleach could still use it especially because of its specific animation early on. But also, I think that Bleach is anime that suffers through its anime suffers with pacing a lot more than
For
maybe some
sure.
of the other anime
For
around
sure.
at the time. They are remaking One Piece. You've heard about that, right?
Yeah. Maybe that's
It's
what I was
called The One
mistaking.
Piece.
Yeah, maybe that's
True.
what I was mistaking Bleach for.
And that's like essentially the same company, just like redoing it from the start, cutting out the fluff and making it more efficient. And so, any of these anime could probably, the big three from the past could probably do with a pacing re-edit. But of the three, I would want to see it for Bleach the most as well.
Yeah, and there's honestly so many older animes that I want to watch. They look very interesting, but a lot of them just look so dated that I don't really want to like I don't have too much time nowadays. I don't want to allocate the time for something really dated to maybe work out. Um
Yeah, hey, I
I
hear you.
I could fire off a ton of animes that look interesting, look cool, especially with the 90s look, but like if they're visually updated, I would be on them like white and rice. Um but I feel like one of the most popular ones that isn't necessarily like fully made yet, but like Berserk. Like they did some movies, they did a 90s in the 90s they did some episodes which didn't look too bad. Then we had the horrible remake, the CGI one. I don't think anybody
Yeah,
liked that one. Uh,
right.
I would love to see that because I am interested in in the story. I've never read the manga, but um, I would love to see that fully animated.
Yeah, Berserk has never fully had its day in the sun
Exactly.
yet. It's there's always a caveat associated with any Berserk project, so that would be a good one and one that the fandom desperately deserves,
Oh yeah,
honestly.
for sure. And but I think we've talked about this before with like in our previous episodes when we were talking about Castlevania, how that studio wants to pick it up, and
Hmm.
a lot of other studios don't want to touch it because the fans
First.
are very particular in what they want, and every other adaptation's been pretty not so great. Uh, but hopefully someone picks it up and does it justice.
Yeah, I would go berserk for that. Another one. Uh, this is more recent. This one actually just came to mind. Uh, Promise Neverland. You watched season one and two of that, right? Yeah. So as we all know, season two absolute biffed it. Honestly, you don't even need a remake season one, like at all.
Season one's
But
perfect.
it is. It's a great season of anime. I'm sure you could update some animation or whatever, but you can clean it up. But season two just dropped the ball so incredibly hard that I'm down to let's just all pretend it never happened. We can pick the story right back up and go for a couple more seasons. I would watch that in a second.
Season
Um,
two was like the biggest slap in the face in like that I've seen in like a long time from like an
in
anime.
any
Like
an anime, it might be the biggest letdown in anime,
it
especially for
is.
something that's just one and two seasons. Like it had the world in its hand at the end of season one and just completely threw it on the ground.
And like I think the worst part of it is the fact that they ended it in a like slideshow presentation. Like what
Yeah,
the hell? Like what? And like
a
apparently
montage to wrap up the entire plot.
yeah, like excuse me? That is crazy. Like you might as well have just slap the panels on the screen and just like every 4 seconds it changes. Like please give me something.
Yeah, Promise Neverland, more like Broken Promise, never gonna land the ship.
We'll work on
Did your mic cut out? I didn't hear you laughing. That's odd.
that.
Have you ever heard of a show called Code Geass Cast?
Of course.
Did you watch it?
No. But
Ah, I
I
was gonna
know
I
it's
was gonna be
peak.
really excited if we both watched it but never talked about it before.
It's on
One of
my
my favorites
list.
growing up. I've seen it multiple times. I really like the show. It's as smart as Death Note, and the action is pretty fun. The parts of it I enjoy the least are the mech parts of it. But I think that if a studio really tackled this series, a remake could be great. But they would have to touch up some of the dialogue because it feels super dated. I think if you go back to it, and definitely touch up a lot of that animation, the character designs, and a lot of that pacing. And I think you could have a shining gem. If Code Geass came out today in 2025 with 2025 sensibilities, I think it would be a phenomenal show.
Yeah, it's definitely up there on my list. I feel like that's one of the core animes I feel like you should see if you're an anime fan for sure.
It's very good. I imagine it might be a little tough to get through though, because it is very dated. It's almost like the Bleach conversation. The animation, like art design, is going to feel super dated, and the
Yeah.
character models look like Ouran High School Host Club characters. Very like sleek, long, this kind of design to
Yeah,
every
yeah,
character.
yeah.
I feel like. But it is a good one. I will say it's a great one. That's about it on my list. One thing that kept coming to mind that I don't see where a remake would really elevate it is Death Note. I don't know
Yeah.
why I have it in my mind. It's such like a relic of the past. It's a stamp in the anime community that everyone needs to go to at some point. My only argument for remaking it is that a new generation deserves to have this story expressed to them. But I don't know what a remake would really bring to the table. What do you think about that?
Um, when we brought up this topic, I that initially was one of the ones that came through my head, but I was like, honestly, man, it's I don't know what I would change because even like the animation, like obviously there's not a lot of like action and like high movements and stuff going around. You don't really need crazy animation. Um, and part of the charm I feel like is like the older kind of grittier look of it. Like I don't know if modernizing the look of it would really do all that much. But with what you said, I feel like some sort of re-release would really bring that to to the younger audience that maybe not might not have seen it. Because anytime I feel like I'm wanting to get someone into anime, that's like one of my first recommendations because it's not like too over the top unrealistic. It's just a good straight story. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's beautiful. I don't know what I would change with it, honestly.
Yeah, I just think Gen Z would eat it up, and
Oh,
so
for
it's worth. They
sure.
would probably make so much money if they did it,
Yeah.
but on paper, there's not that much of an argument to be made. Like, I don't need more fluid animation of Light picking up a potato chip and eating it. You know what I mean? I'm sure that with today's animation, you could even more play up that gothic horror aesthetic with
For
Ryuk and the
sure.
Shinigami world. Like I'm sure you could do some pretty cool stuff with that, to be honest. But I don't know. It's also, Death Note feels like one of those things where it's almost sacrilegious to touch it. Something
Yeah.
feels wrong about changing it at all.
Yeah. They could definitely remake it as well. But
I wouldn't hate doing a Death Note anthology type of thing where I'm following a different person with the Death Note. I wouldn't hate it.
yeah, and like even the spin-off chapter was actually pretty good. I was interested. It ended very quickly, obviously, but I feel like I
Yeah.
wouldn't hate if there was another situation where um someone got the Death Note, and obviously this is after the events and people are aware of its existence. How they would have to really think to like you would have to go even further in your thinking to avoid getting caught, because if stuff starts happening, people are going to know immediately what it is.
Would it be fun? Yeah, like in a post-Kira world, you
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah,
people, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Would it be fun to see? It would potentially be fun to see the Death Note exist in a 20 plus world with TikTok, social media, all etc. I think that would be a fun experiment, especially in a post-Kira world. Someone utilizing today's technology. There would be certainly a Kira Twitter account, right? Like something like
Right.
that. Or more of a social media following, even more so than what was in the original. That could be interesting.
Yeah, no, I think they could do a lot, but obviously it would require a lot of thinking and planning out to make it like as intricate and smart as Death Note originally was, especially with again a post Kira world and all this technology, and there's cameras everywhere at all times. Like you can't just like a lot of moments where Light is just like talking to someone and he's like, I'm Kira, and then they die 30 seconds later. Like a street camera is gonna pick that up now. They're gonna be like, all right, what was this person doing before they died?
Now, I picture it would be like Light would be scrolling on TikTok and he would see the Costco guys, the Big Boom family, and then he would write down their names and he would be deleting more as like culling whoever he thinks is abusing social media in a brain rot way.
I do have one that, hundreds of people, hundreds, thousands even, um, are patiently waiting for, and that I'm surprised you didn't mention. Good anime by the name of Bobo Bobo Bobo
Ah, Bobo 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 Bobo. Okay. Interesting. Wow.
Bobo.
I loved Bobo 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 as a kid. I don't think I need to see it
No,
come back. Is this
that was a
something
joke.
people are asking for?
No, no, that was a joke. But
Okay.
I do remember as a child thinking it was the funniest thing known to
Oh
man.
man. It was so funny
It
for
was
no good
so
reason.
it was
Like,
so good. So good. I honestly, if they remade it, I don't care if it's bad. I'd watch the whole thing.
yeah, you kind of got the wheels turned in my head right now. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
It's a
Oh
sleeper.
man.
Not a lot of people I feel like have seen it.
Bobobo is like Uncle Grandpa, dude. He's such a freak.
Dude, it was insane. And I even remember like the intro. Like that's ingrained in my head.
Oh, I don't have it. It doesn't immediately come to my
Dude.
mind, but
When you
I would have to recognize it.
when you
Is
hear it, you
Bobobo
know.
in? Is Bobobo like part of the lyrics?
Yeah.
Can you
It's like
sing it?
say what, Bobo. Say what, Bobo.
Oh,
Yeah. Dude, so
keep
good.
going, dude. I'm vibing.
No. That's the extent. The free trial's over.
Dang. Oh man, now I'm in a wistful state. You just ruined me by putting that back into my head. I can't believe it.
Dude, I feel
Oh
like I
man.
tried to rewatch an episode once, and to be fair, I think it was in like the worst quality known to man. Like it's just off YouTube. It was not good. That'd be pretty good,
Yeah.
honestly. All right, I
But
think that's
yeah,
it.
hopefully we honestly I would be okay if we enter an age of the anime renaissance where we're getting more anime remakes. Honestly I'd be here for it.
I mean, they're doing it with video games. It's only a matter
It's
of time
true.
before they start doing it with the rest of media.
It's very true. All right. Well, I think that'll bring us to a close. We're getting close to the 1 year mark on this channel, so maybe we'll remake some of our original videos.
That would actually be pretty cool too.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, that'll bring this video to a close. Cass, go ahead and tell the people goodbye for us.
Um, guys, goodbye. We'll see you on the next. um, we don't get to our schedules don't always align, so you might not always see me, but D has been pretty good at steady posting, so you'll definitely see from him a little bit more from me. definitely watch what he's got to say, because he's a little bit better in the review space especially in terms of movies and shows.
Oh, cast. You shouldn't have.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
All right. See, it gets weird when we get sappy, huh?
Exactly.
All right. Peace out. Remember that we love you.
You are loved. Goodbye.